Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're once again going to talk about several leaks that I managed to find and that I think are pretty interesting to discuss. As always, all of this information comes from sources that are considered fairly credible. But before we get into the discussion, running out of Stellar Jade and Honkai starrail? Don't worry, there's a more budget-friendly solution. Now you can top up in-game safely, quickly, and at a lower price through U7 Buy. And it's not just Honkai starrail, other games are available too, all in one place. Still not sure? No problem. You can check U7 Buy's reviews directly on Trustpilot, so it's transparent and trustworthy. For comparison, 80 oniric shards cost around $100 in the official store, but on U7 Buy, it's much cheaper. The process is also instant. Just select your server, enter your UID, and the balance is delivered straight to your account, no hassle. Don't forget to use code BOOM for a 5% discount. Click the link in my description or pinned comment to visit U7 Buy. Alright, now let's move on to the main topic. So, in the previous video, we talked about the changes made to Moorblade in Beta V3. What do you guys think? Were those changes actually good, or do you think they made things worse? For those of you who might have missed that discussion, I highly recommend checking out that video first. This time, we're still going to be talking about version 4.3, but with a slightly different topic. We'll be discussing which characters are expected to appear in the rerun banners for version 4.3, basically, which characters will accompany Moorblade in the upcoming patch. And as usual, all of this information comes from fairly credible sources. So without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the discussion. Before we begin, there's something interesting about today's source that I want to mention first. This source is actually pretty interesting, and I think many of you probably haven't heard of them before. The source is Samika Kaspersky. What's interesting is that this source apparently has around 64,000 followers, which is quite a significant number and one of the indicators of their credibility. What strengthens their credibility even more is their track record. Previously, they shared information regarding the rerun banners for version 4.2, and their leaks turned out to be quite accurate. Interestingly enough, they even posted the information a few days earlier than Sakura Haven. However, as you can probably tell, all information from this source is originally in Russian. But thankfully, HSR Italia has already translated everything into English, so it's much easier for us to understand. As usual, version 4.3 will be divided into two phases, the first half and the second half. So let's start with the first half first. For the first half banner, of course, the main highlight character of this version will be featured, Blade SP, or what we usually call Moorblade. As we know, he's a Fire Nihility support character whose performance currently looks extremely impressive. In fact, during the recent V3 beta, he actually received buffs instead of nerfs. That honestly makes me really curious whether he'll be able to survive until V5 with his current kit intact, or if he'll eventually receive nerfs like previous male characters did. As for the rerun banner in the first half, there will only be one rerun character, and this character might actually make some of you confused about who to pull for. That character is Yaoguang. Yes, Yaoguang is expected to rerun in version 4.3 alongside Moorblade. She's the first physical elation character and also an incredibly valuable support for elation teams, thanks to her ability to trigger extra AHA instants. This is obviously really good news, especially for players who already have Super Wolf but didn't manage to get Yaoguang during her debut banner, myself included. So overall, this is a great opportunity for those of you who want to complete your elation team. But I'm sure many of you are wondering, why is Yaoguang rerunning in version 4.3 when she was only first released in version 4.0? Isn't that way too fast? Well, not really. If we count properly, that means there have already been 2 full versions since Yaoguang's original release by the time she reruns in 4.3. And honestly, many other characters have also rerun after just 2 versions since their debut. Some examples from the 3.x patches include the Herta, Aglia, Tribi, Feinon, Evernight, and the Dahlia. All of them followed a fairly similar pattern. So yaoguang rerunning in version 4.3 is actually pretty normal and not really something unusual. Now let's move on to the second half banner, which is just as interesting. The second half is pretty exciting because it will feature 2 rerun characters from the 3.x patches. The first one is Feinon. Yes, Feinon is a physical destruction character who's still considered a fairly reliable DPS, although his overall performance has started to decline compared to newer and more powerful characters being released recently. He was first released in version 3.4 and last reran in version 3.7, so it's been quite a while since he last appeared on a banner. Because of that, it's completely reasonable for him to return again in version 4.3. For those of you aiming for E2 or even E6 Feinon, this could definitely be a good opportunity. However, personally, I don't think investing heavily into Feinon Eidolons is that worth it anymore. The reason is pretty simple. In version 4.2, we're expected to get Evanescia, a brand new physical DPS who overall looks significantly stronger than Feinon. Alright, now for the second rerun character in the second half, Cyrene. This is actually a pretty interesting moment because version 4.3 will mark Cyrene's very first rerun since her first release back in version 3.7. Cyrene is an Ice Remembrance character who has never returned to the banners since her debut. For those of you who failed to get her the first time around, version 4.3 is definitely an opportunity you don't want to miss. Even now, full Remembrance teams are still considered one of the strongest and most relevant team compositions in the current elation meta. Because of that, Cyrene is still an extremely worthwhile investment if you're planning to build a full Remembrance team. Aside from the rerun banner information, this source also shared another interesting detail that honestly caught a lot of people's attention. According to the post, the source claims that if you own Moorblade on your account, you'll receive an additional reward. And that reward is apparently a permanent cosmetic item for our beloved Trailblazer. This information also lines up with what Seal Leaks previously shared, where they quoted another source calling themselves Long Image Uncle. According to Long Image Uncle, Hoyoverse is planning to add more pay for cool features this year, basically cosmetic-style microtransactions or fashion-related premium items. And maybe this is exactly what that uncle was referring to. So instead of being some kind of global passive bonus for owning the anniversary character, it seems more likely that players will receive a permanent cosmetic item if they own Moorblade. That said, we still don't know exactly what kind of cosmetic it'll be. It could be a skin, or maybe some sort of cosmetic accessory for the MC, like the MEM hat or something similar. Alright, I think that's everything we can discuss for today. So, what do you guys think about the rerun banners in version 4.3? Do you think the rerun characters are interesting, or are they making you confused about who to pull for? Feel free to share your opinions, thoughts, and speculations in the comments section below. Don't forget to share this information with your friends who also play Honkai, starrail, and make sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss any future updates. See you all in the next update.